Hey there.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Listen, it does not even feel like it's been a whole week since the last episode. I feel like I was just with you and Mel a couple of days ago, and it was legit an entire week ago.
Yeah,
It's crazy how time is flying. But how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. The,
Yeah.
the spring has sprung here in New York. I got me some 80-degree weather. I was out in the streets today in my cute little peasant skirt and sandals. I was a little
Period.
bit like disappointed in myself. I forgot to shave my toes.
Girl, I'm sorry. Not I forgot to shave my toes. Not trying with the hairy feet. What we
It wasn't
doing?
hairy. They had a little 5 o'clock shadow because I had shaved them last week.
I'm done.
Listen, if anybody is sitting in judgment of me, oh, you better look at your own feet because my feet
Indeed,
is
they're
cute.
not.
My feet
Exactly.
is
They better
cute.
not be. They better not be looking. I'm losing earrings over here. It has been such a long work day, literally. All puns
Mm.
intended, because I work at work day. And so I'm still in my little suit jacket and in my little outfit that I wore. But I'm so glad that we have this episode. I'm really excited about our guest that's with us today, and the gems that she will drop later on in the show. But before we get started, y'all know how we do. Go share this live. Y'all go hit up your friends, all your gems. Go tell a friend to tell a gem to get in here tonight. Literally, our topic is for women. We are, fellas, we love y'all. So if y'all come through with the come through, we good with that. But tonight we are really focusing on women and helping women to look at self care beyond the bubble bath, beyond the superficial things. But before we get into that, and bring out our guest. Tiff, you have a sip and shine and a sober up. Ow. We got both tonight.
Yes, yes, yes. Do I get my little video? Because I'm
Of
over here
course,
trying to
listen, you know
look at.
that's where I was headed. You know, listen, you know
I
that's
need
where I was
it.
headed. I'm
I
gonna do your
need it.
sip and shine first.
Okay.
All right, then.
So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to commencement season. Today's Sip and Shine is being dedicated to all of those graduates, whether it's kindergarten step up all the way to those who are crossing the stage to get their doctorates. This Sip and Shine goes out to you. Congratulations, you did it. I remember being younger, and there used to be the no more teachers, no more books, no more teachers' dirty looks. Like you did that. But
Yes.
this shine moment goes out to the boys, the girls, the non-binary. It go out to everybody who is killing it at prom. There was a prom in Miami, Florida. Their theme was like a Disney theme. And when I tell you these
They
kids
ate.
killed, like left no crumbs on
Yeah,
the
they ate.
table. When I
Yeah.
shared the first video, I was like, wait a minute, is that a wolf in the back of the car? Because she was Little Red Riding Hood. They was
Yep.
like, Mommy, it's just a husky. You dragging it. But still, they were phenomenal.
They committed.
Yes, yes.
They committed. No, I love it. I saw those pictures and thank you for sharing that with us. I saw that. I think my favorite was the last Tiana holding the frog. Oh, sis was gorgeous. She was so classy and so gorgeous. So yeah, that was super dope. That was
And
dope.
I just want to point out that my heart was a little bit proud that these were some brown colored kids who was out here doing it.
Facts. Facts. Yep.
Like I'm very proud of them. I'm very proud of them. So cheers to y'all. But
Yes.
now,
I got
but
tea tonight. Look, I got tea tonight. But sip and shine to y'all. Clink, 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 clink.
mine is mango lemonade. Mm, homemade mango lemonade. Okay.
That
But
part.
on the other side of commencement, all
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of commencement, we have the people who don't know how to act at graduation. So first, I want to acknowledge that there was a school where there was a shooting outside of the graduation. No one
Yeah.
inside the graduation was harmed. However, there is still trauma that is going to be tied into this day that this shooting did occur outside
Yeah.
of the ceremony. But then
Yeah.
want to point out that there was a mama twerking at another graduation when her son
Yep.
crossed the stage.
Yep.
Uh, there was the mother who went off at the elementary school awards ceremony because her baby didn't get an award. And people were really in the comments like, oh, everybody should get something. And I'm like, we really got to break
No.
away from this participatory, everybody gets an award thing. Like, no, because
Right.
we're all winners in our own way, but
Right.
no, no.
Right. And then
Like,
how does that encourage the underachievers to step their game up if they're gonna get an award too? It's like, oh, I can remain mediocre. Cool. I'm still gonna get an award. Yeah, but if you're mediocre at work, you're not gonna get a paycheck. So how about we not teach that? Like, let's do better to say no. Being here is not enough. Showing up was not enough. You needed to do well, and the students who did well are the ones who got an award. And then shout out to the mother who showed up to her baby's kindergarten graduation in the tank top and the mini shorts. What y'all calling them now? Because I know they was Daisy Dukes when I was little. I'm telling my age, but yeah. And then they were. She was mad because the other parents was asking her to cover up. It was a mess. It was a whole mess. So, like Tiff said, unfortunately, Tiff got froze. But when she comes back, she will reiterate everything that I just said. We got to do better. Like, let's show up for our kids and really celebrate them and not embarrass the hell out of them. Okay. Because that's just not cool. That's just not okay. So, anyway, as I was saying, we have a special guest tonight. Hopefully, Tiff will be back on shortly. I know she was having some technical difficulties, some internet issues. But before I bring out our guest, to my diamonds, please make sure that you drop a note in our group chat and tell your diamond sisters that the Queen's Pin said to get in here, get in here. Let's support our guest tonight. We're really excited that she's with us. We're very grateful that she found some time in her schedule to come and chat with you. I think that you will be blessed by what she's going to share. I think that it's going to be applicable and helpful content for you. And it's just something that's really important to me as a leader, as a woman, as a mother, as an employee, as a visionary, all the things. I'm really big on taking care of ourselves. I was reading Dr. Anita Phillips' book, and she said that what we don't address internally will eventually come out on the outside. So what we don't, when we hold in our emotions, it will affect us physically. And so let's do better at dealing with our holistic selves, like everything from top to bottom, okay, head to toe. Like, let's start taking care of ourselves. So I'm going to come to the comments and see who in the building, and then I'm going to bring out our guest. What's up, Michelle? We see you, Shell Mac, in the comments. Hi, Bernadette. We see you in the comments. Hi, Colleen. Thank you for being here, beautiful. We see you in the comments. Hey, Marlene. We see you, Miss Lena E, in the comments. Thank you, ladies, for being here. We really appreciate it. Please go tell your diamond sisters that I said to get in here. If they are available, they need to be here. Okay. Appreciate you, Real McCoy. Great to see you. He says, just shared, y'all. Much love. We really appreciate you, gent. We love to see our fellas representing for us. I see you, Miss Tanisha. Hey, sis. That is my beautiful sister from another mister, y'all. If y'all are not following her and connected to her, what you doing with your life? Go follow her. Okay, go connect with her. Those are dope vibes all day, every day. Hey, Shani. Thanks for being here. Elise, what's going on, sis? We see you in the comments. Thank y'all so much for being here. All right, that's enough small talk. Bernadette, I had to show you some love. Good evening to you. All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and bring out our guest. I'm so excited. I'm going to try to do less talking. Tonight, I'm going to do more listening and less talking. But let me read a little bit of her bio. Let me introduce to y'all Miss Sherelle Moore Tucker. She is a wellness educator, movement and meditation instructor with more than a decade of working in the wellness industry. Can we just clap it up for that? That's commitment. That type of tenure needs to be celebrated. Okay. She is registered with the National Yoga Alliance as an experienced yoga teacher, having taught over 1,000 hours of yoga. She has completed training and certifications for iRest Level 1 meditation teacher, informed by the teachings of Dr. Richard Miller and iRest Institute. Y'all go check that out, iRest Institute. Y'all know I love to connect with agencies and organizations that are helping us out. So y'all go check that out. Um, and then I wanted to read this last part here. It says she has taught wellness classes and workshops for organizations like the Arthritis Foundation, Black Girl Health Foundation, Kaiser Permanente, Jack and Jill of America, and various local churches. Local churches, y'all, that means the sister knows the Lord. Okay. That means that she knows God, she knows Jesus, and we love it because we are a faith-based community, and you will know them by their fruits. And so I'm super excited to have her come on out. I'm gonna bring her out now. Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello, everyone. Can you
How
hear
are
me okay?
you? Yes, we hear you great. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me this evening. I appreciate
It
it.
it is such a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Um, I want to have you introduce yourself to all of our gems and gents. They are here in the comments. I did a little something for you, but I would love for you to expound and expand on what I shared about who you are and how you are helping women to live well.
Wow. Thank you for sharing some of the highlights from my bio. I am originally from Augusta, Georgia. I still claim Georgia as my birthplace. I'm a Georgia peach here in the DMV area because my husband's a Washingtonian. He refuses to
Nice.
leave. But I live here in the DC metro area. I am a veteran, so I served in the military along with my husband. So we are really committed to service. We share that in common. And I actually came into the wellness space because of my own personal health challenges. I was
Mm,
diagnosed with osteoarthritis uh, uh, close to the time when I was leaving the military. And that kind of
mm,
introduced me to the wellness space in a different way. As someone
yeah.
that always came from a movement background, I danced in high school. I went to a performing arts school. So I was involved in ballet, choir. I ran track. And so that's kind of a little bit of my movement background. But if you know anything about mindfulness and fitness has some
Mm,
great similarities, but there are also some differences. So with that
mhm,
diagnosis, I was more so introduced to a different side of movement that was a little bit different than fitness, the running, the track, and all those things, and dance. And so I've been in the space. Being able to meet so many different people from all walks of life. Today, I actually just did a chair yoga class for educators that were coming together to do some professional development. I've done classes for law firms. I mean, you've already mentioned some of the places that I've been. So, what that has done for me is made me a practitioner that is able to adapt to whatever environment you place me in, whether it's seniors that are just moving from a chair or
yeah.
young people that are kids and they already have great flexibility. So we find other ways to challenge them, or people my own age. Some of the young people call us aunties. I don't know if I'm really an auntie yet, but I'm kind of getting there. I think my face throws people off. I'm older than people think, but I just enjoy helping people to learn to find a sense of safety and comfort in the bodies that they have been blessed with, and I do that with men and women, but primarily women.
I absolutely love that. And you said so many different things about your own journey in,
Mhm.
sports and in fitness and all of the things. And I think sometimes we emphasize that and we think that's enough, right? We think
Mhm.
that's sufficient in terms of taking care of ourselves. And
Yeah.
I want to focus tonight on having a real candid discussion about learning how to care for our bodies beyond the bubble bath, if you will, right? And what I mean by bubble bath, I mean that metaphorically in terms of we think that that is enough, that that's
Mhm.
enough stress relief to just lay in a tub or just go get a massage or get a facial, and that that is going to be sufficient for the days and hours and weeks and months of stress on our bodies.
Mhm.
And it's just not enough. It really is not enough. And so, of course, you are the expert. I am just a witness to what the work can do. But we're going to look to you to really help guide our gyms and gents. So we're going to bring Tiffany back out. The Phoenix is back, and then we will jump into our first topic.
Okay, great.
Welcome back, Tiff.
Hey,
Listen, the internet is hating on you tonight.
I'm gonna throw the whole cable box away. I'm throwing to the trash.
It's gotta go. It's gotta go. Well, we just had an amazing intro from Sherelle, and she told us a little bit about what got her started in this space. And so we're gonna first introduce our first subtopic tonight, which is nurturing the total woman. And
Mhm.
I'll set that up so that I can kind of help introduce what we're gonna discuss here. Um, we see trends on social media. Y'all know I'm always attacking social media because I just can't stand anything that makes us conform or makes us the same. I'm all about individuality and uniqueness, but
Yeah.
social media has a very bad habit of perpetuating that going to the gym is enough,
Mhm.
or getting your body augmented or cutting people off is a great way of stress release. And just all of these limited
Yeah.
and they're very limited practices. And I want to talk about what are some holistic practices we can adopt and implement in our everyday life to take care of the total body. Okay, I love that you're taking care of yourself in the gym, and for me that is mental that is my mental clarity time. Like I get my best ideas on the treadmill. But then beyond that, if I'm coming home and shoving cheeseburgers and what I'm saying, and chips and cookies and cakes and pies down my throat, then what did you go to the gym for?
Right.
And then if you're going to the gym and then you're eating terribly and then you're allowing everything and everyone to have access to you and to stress you out, and then your stress relief is some Hennessy and I ain't coming for nobody. I can't do dark liquor, but if that's your thing, my point is though that we'll turn to substances to help with stress release. And so I really would love, I'm gonna come to you first, Sherelle, and then I'll come to you, Tiff. What are some healthy best practices, literally from head to toe? I want to talk about skincare. I want to talk about hormone therapy. I want to talk about stress management. Just really taking care of the total woman. So go ahead, Sherelle. However the conversation carries you, go for it.
So I think some of the things that are pretty accessible to most people, not even just women, are the senses,
Mm,
and being able to really get in tune with the senses, because there's a lot of studies and research that shows not only young people are addicted to social media, but everyone's addicted to social media,
yeah.
and it can be a distraction from our senses. Our senses, a sense of
Mm,
sight, what we're hearing, what we're reading, what we're intaking through our mouths, through our ears, our ear gates, our eye gates. And so we can become very desensitized to what we're actually consuming. I remember a time and space where newspapers were thrown on your front porch, and the only way that you kind of knew about what was going on in other parts of the world was if you sat and watched the news in the evening. I can remember doing current events in middle school and elementary school and having to read the newspaper. But now you really have the news right at your fingertips, and you can
yeah.
very easily zone out of your world and zone
Mhm.
into someone else's, your favorite influencer, your favorite pastor, or become informed about things that are going on the other side of the world. So, to your point, what are some things that we can do head to toe? I would say starting with, what are you consuming? So we spend a lot of time talking about weight, what the scale says, dress size, but what are you consuming? Not only through your mouth, what you're eating, but what are you consuming with your eyes? What are you consuming with your ears? Who are you
Yeah.
listening to? What are you listening to? Because as much as we would like to believe that we have our own minds, our own thoughts, I can tell you in this day and age, the algorithm is pretty much controlling what you ingest through your eyes, through
Ooh,
your
that's
ears.
good.
So I would really suggest checking, does the algorithm really have control over my mind? Am I being manipulated and I don't even know it? And these types of things can be associated, with your mental health, your soul care. Your mind, will, and emotions is your soul. And
Mhm.
so many times we can really be so focused on the external. For many people, you can try your best to change your external appearance, and many people are just never satisfied. But if you will take some time to just focus on what's happening internally, you'd be surprised at how much peace and satisfaction you'll be able to get out of life when you do some of the inner work. I think those are some really applicable things. And here's the thing, it's not a hack. I think a lot of people, including myself at one point, we're always looking for the next hack. How can I hack my mind? How can I hack my body? What's the
Yeah.
2 or 3 things that I need to do to not take the long road, but I want to take the shortcut? Tell me the shortcut hack. And I can tell you, living this life, and as you get older and older, you'll find out there are no hacks.
None.
If God brings you to it, He will take you through it. There's no shortcuts. And of course, you can take the shortcut, but you shortchange yourself as it
Hmm.
relates to your health and well being, body, soul, and spirit. But I do think that there's benefits and there's great things that we can do to empower ourselves as women, as you mentioned, taking care of yourself, good stewardship over the biggest organ on our body, our skin. What are you putting on your skin? Are you even aware what you're putting on your skin, what you're
Right.
putting into your body? And also, um, self care is also about education. We can get consumed with a lot of information, but what I would suggest that people do, once you tune into who you're listening to and what you're reading, begin to do some introspection and say, where am I at in life? Am I perimenopausal? Am I in a different stage in my life? Let
Mhm.
me tune into the things that I'm dealing with now and find out a little bit more about hormones. Your mother, your caregiver, whoever may not have spoken to you about these things. So it's incumbent upon us to come to our sisters like this group and other
Yeah.
places to learn and to empower ourselves with information and knowledge. And as
Right.
you mentioned, every person is going to be different. So don't try to pattern yourself and your wellness plan after everyone else. It's great to take those nuggets, take them in, and see if they apply. And so I'll leave
Mm.
it there for the phoenix to come in.
No, that was so good. That was so good. Tiff, I'm gonna come to you, but I love where you talked about creating a pattern for yourself, right? And like you said, I think we have access to so much information and it's to our detriment. Like it's not healthy. Too much of anything is unhealthy. And I feel like we have so much information out there and many of us are not self-aware enough or mature enough or wise enough to know how to filter and
Yeah,
discern, is this for me? Do I take this on? We're trying it. We are out here. When I say I got a girlfriend that has tried every diet plan, pill, shot, drink. I'm like, girl, you are destroying your body, putting in all of these things, and you don't even know what your issue is.
right.
That's why we need to go to the doctor. That's why we need to have regular wellness visits. And the last point I'm going to make, Tiff, we both work in HR, Tiff and I. I was talking to one of the benefits leaders because we're getting ready for Wellness Day, and we're having our vendors come. And she was like, "Why are you so dead set on having the vendors there?" And I said, because majority of our workforce doesn't even know what benefits we offer them. They are just paying it out of their biweekly pay. They go to the doctor when they're hurt, sick, something like, but they have no idea the endless benefits that are available to us, in our healthcare system. And I'm just like, why not take advantage of it? You're paying for it. They don't know about women wellness visits. They're 100% covered,
Mhm.
including your mammogram. Everything for your women's wellness visit annually is covered. Your 10 panel STD testing, your mammogram, your PAP. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little graphic, ladies, but we have to have this discussion because we're not taking care of ourselves. We
Right.
figure if there are no symptoms, I'm not itching, I'm not burning, I'm not bleeding, I'm all right. Girl,
Dang, that was kind of extreme. It's
you
not
get what
itching, it's not burning, it's not bleeding. I'm okay. Wow. Okay. Those are the only three things that it can do to let you know it's broken.
but you're not okay. And
Right.
so, but that's all I had to add that. But Cheryl, thank you for all that you just offered because it's so much for us to unpack and really discuss. And that's why I kept it to just two topics because I knew we were going to have a really good discussion. All right, Phoenix, go ahead. I'm quiet. I'm going to sip my tea.
So there were a couple of things that I was thinking about. So the first one came into was the fact that we live in an instant gratification society. Everybody has to have something now. That's why hacks are such a popular thing, because hacks teach you how to do something that would normally take time in a quicker or more efficient way. And yeah, a lot of times they are great, but then again, there is there is no hack to life. There are no life hacks, you know. And so everybody wants something instantly. It's to the point like people can't even stand online at the checkout for the grocery store. Like you could be the third person online and immediately people like, oh my God, the lines are so long. And it's like only three people, it's only two people ahead of you. What are you, like everybody is like in this heightened rush, which actually adds anxiety into the body. So simple things as going to the grocery store can put people in an anxious mindset, because first of all, inflation got groceries costing an arm, a leg, and three toes. But
Seriously.
just the thought of having to engage the public and waiting and then making a decision, it's a lot. It's a lot on the mind. And then for me, I believe that once things have impacted the mental, then it's only a matter of time before it trickles down through the rest of the body. And
Yep.
so you gotta, for me, the first place where if you're going to do anything pertaining to your wellness, especially if it's going to be physical, you have to address the mental first, because then you have to get behind why you're an emotional eater. You have to get behind why you stay in certain situations, because it's all tied into the emotional and the mental. And so we got to address that first. And that starts with finding a therapist who is usually covered by your HR benefits that you don't
Yep.
know that you have. And sure, you can do things such as yoga classes, fitness classes. I do dance classes. You can go to the gym. You can do all of those things. But once you're out of that setting, say you go every day, 5 days a week, that's only 5 hours out of 24 times seven that you are focused on that. And then, like you said, afterwards, you just go home and then you drink all the drink, you smoke all the smoke, you eat all the eats. And
Yep.
then you get frustrated with your own self because you don't see results. But you're not
Right.
doing what you're doing is counterintuitive to what it is that you want to do. And again, so it's all tied into the mental for me.
That's so good. That is so good, Tiff. I'm gonna come back to you, Sherelle, but I want to just say to our gems and gents who are here tonight, we see you in the comments. Hey, Taisha, thank you for being here. Hi, Paula, we see you. Thank you for sharing this live. I do want to show our comment from Shell Matt. She says, "Hello, Sherelle. Thank you for being here with us tonight. We are indeed grateful for you." So, look, gems, if you have a specific question about holistic health or wellness or any of the things that Sherelle specializes in, go ahead and drop your question. Or if you have a comment, drop it in the comment section. We would love to engage with you. Taisha says, "I absolutely agree, Tiff." She is agreeing in agreement with the Phoenix. We love it.
That's right.
But we want to
Yeah.
make sure that we give her some time, Cheryl, some time to answer any questions that you have, and we'll add it to the discussion. But I want to come back to you. You said something earlier about patterns, and I for one, I am a habitual, like, I'm a pattern strategy planner liver. Like, I cannot live and exist without it. And I used to feel guilty because people were like, "Oh, it's a control thing that you have to control and you have to, like, plan out every single moment of your day." And to me, that's not true. I just need to know that there's an accountability checklist for me. It's not so much control, but more so, did you get this done today? Did you hold yourself accountable to the things that you committed for yourself? I'm not talking
Mhm.
like the grocery list or pay this bill or go knock on the neighbor's door and give them back their cat. Nothing like that. I'm talking like, did did you do these things for you today? And so I have a list. I have a wellness checklist that I live off of. Can you share with us like why that is helpful when you are trying to learn these habits and best practices and how to better care for yourself, having a pattern, as you put it?
Was that for me or for
Mhm.
fitness?
You. No,
That
it's
was
for
for
you.
you.
That was for me. Okay, I'm sorry. So, as far as patterns, I think patterns are great as long as it allows you the space to be flexible, to change, to be able to determine if you're in a different season, if those particular patterns uh, are of no value. But being able to
Mm.
kind of have a list to kind of keep yourself on track, I think is helpful. It allows you to see what your motivations are, if your motivations have changed, your intentions behind the things that you have on your list. And so, in that regard, I think that patterns can be really helpful. Identifying patterns in your own life can be a very introspective process. If you always put your hands forward to do something and you find that within a few weeks or so you lost interest, being able to look and see, is that a pattern in my life? Why does that continue to
Mhm.
happen? Being able to kind of inquire of yourself a little bit more. I think we all can look at our life and see various patterns of things that we've done well and things that we haven't done so well. And that is life's journey, to be able to inquire, to ask, what is the lesson here? Um, I did this like 5 years ago. It reminds me of stories in the Bible going around the mountain, for 40 years. And sometimes we will end up repeating lessons because there is a pattern there and we have to get
That
over
part.
that hurdle in
Yeah.
order to move forward to something else. And so I think it's very important for us to notice patterns, to be aware of them, and find out if they're helpful or they're not
Mhm.
helpful to the particular season that we're in. How is it life-giving for us, or is it not life-giving? um,
Yeah.
so that's kind of what I
Mhm.
want to share about that.
Thank you for that. I love that. And I know we're going to talk a little bit later about, addressing different areas of life in terms of self-care. But I know that you specialize in a few things. And so I'd love for you to share. I know when you originally connected with a member of our team, you
Mhm.
talked about, I think it was like tapping and breath work and some other things. Can you talk to us a little bit more about some of the alternative holistic medicine, if you will? Like that's what I consider. I consider
Okay.
it medicine, right? Tell us more about some of those practices.
Yeah, I think that, when it comes to, you can call them mind body practices or you can call them mindfulness practices. It's kind of like an umbrella term for a lot of things like um, Pilates, yoga, breath work, tapping, meditation, different types of meditations, different types of movement like Tai Chi. All of those can kind of fall under the umbrella of mindfulness or mind body practices, or, holistic practices, natural medicines, things that most people, maybe not everyone, but most people have access to. And
Yeah.
what all of these practices have in common is that it challenges you to slow down. So there are many people I know, even in my own life, that they are addicted and they love cardio. They love not even maybe just the results of cardio and working out, working hard, working strong, but sometimes getting in that zone, people enjoy the feeling of zoning out of your own life. And when it
Mm.
comes to these mindfulness practices, I'll never forget a young lady came to my class years ago, and I didn't see her for a few weeks, but after a yoga class, she said, she told me, Shira, I come to class to zone out, not for
Mm.
things to come up. And it really is, these mindful practices
Wow.
allow space for you to pause and what your body will tell on you. I'm sure some of your listeners have heard the body keeps score. The body does keep score.
Mhm.
So if you have lost someone or a safety or a particular situation, you may be grieving it and you decide to stuff it down, your body may respond in a way that you're not expecting. And so I think that that is what these mindfulness practices are about. They allow space for introspection, for you to look at patterns in your life, look at past hurt, brokenness, possibly trauma, direct or indirect trauma. And it provides you with a safe space to begin to do some of the inner work through mindful movement, slow movement, meaningful movement, not just kind of rushing through stuff and blasting
Mhm.
music and zoning out, but it causes you to kind of zone in. And I tell people
Mm.
that mindfulness practices, everyone can do mindfulness practices, but everyone may not be ready for mindfulness practices. And for
Right.
that young lady that shared it with me, she said, "This is not what I want right now." And she never came back. But I appreciate her telling me that was the reason. She was like, I don't want to zone in. I want to zone out, and this class is just too much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Time to slow, things come up you don't really want to deal with. And I find that many people may say, Pilates or a yoga class or Tai Chi, you have to have so much flexibility. And people say, oh, I don't want all that. I can't touch my toes. But I find that it's not really about people not being able to touch their toes. It's really about this space of calm and quietness that some people are just not ready for. They're not
Right.
ready for it. And that's
Right.
okay.
And
That's
that's okay.
okay.
Yeah. That is so good. And my therapist, shout out to my therapist Aaliyah. She was talking to me about the 5 4 3 2 1 method
Mhm.
and how that's something that she needs me to start practicing regularly because I have a habit of moving fast.
Fast.
I do have downtime. I do designate and kind of carve out time in my day to reflect, my devotion
Mhm.
time, my prayer time, journaling, things like that. And she was like, but it needs to be a part of your life
Right.
because you're moving so fast, you're forcing yourself to slow down and your body responds to that. So
Right.
it's still traumatic, even for you physically, because it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We've been running all day. We've had stress up here all day. And now all of a sudden she's like, now calm down. It's like, what? You have to ease yourself into it.
Into it.
And
Yeah.
doing the right and doing that 5 4 3 2 1 method, it's breaks throughout the day so that my body is already pacing and slowing itself down on its own. So I love, love, love what you shared. Tiff, I'm gonna come to you. I know that you take your dance classes and you are always looking for ways to, really just take care of yourself holistically. What would you add to what Sherelle has said about, being more mindful of um, not just the things that we're doing physically, right? But
Mhm.
even the pace that our minds are constantly operating at. We are like many of us can't even go to sleep because our minds are still racing. So we're
Yeah.
popping melatonin and things like that. So what would you recommend?
So first, I want to say, what as you were speaking about the always going to go, but then you force yourself to like either do journaling. It reminds me of when you drive a car, they tell you like you're not supposed to slam brakes because that does more damage to the engine and everything like that. But that's exactly what we're doing to our bodies. We're constantly on the go, on the go, on the go, and then we're like, oh, stop.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
so we're sending our inner clock. I'm stuck for the term. I know what it is because it happens to me every time we have daylight savings, and I gotta get um. But you're running and then breaking, suddenly breaking your inner clock, and so the jolt may not be physical; it's still psychological or mental.
Yes.
And then I also wanted to something that Sherelle said. I started somatic workouts in January, and I was told like be prepared to as you get into these workouts, like you're going to have these emotional breakthroughs. And as soon as the first one came, I was like, nope, whoop, whoop, and I stopped doing. And I haven't done a somatic workout. I'm gonna say since maybe like Valentine's Day, like around mid-February, because I wasn't ready for the breakthrough that was right there. It was like right there. I saw it and I was like, oh, no, I don't want to deal with that and put it down.
Mhm.
But I do know that the body keeps the score.
Yep.
If we've been here long enough, you know that I've broken bones in the same leg.
twice, my kneecap in September of 2019, my ankle on the same leg in February of 2020. And it was because my body was saying, girl, you need to sit down and rest. And I was like, nope, gotta keep going and pushing through and pushing through. And so it was like, okay, if you don't
Yep.
make time to give me rest, I'm going to put you down to rest.
Mm.
And I'm still getting used to that because as my body has healed, I feel myself starting to pick back up. I feel myself starting to do more and more and gaining the momentum and the speed because I feel like I have to catch up from the time that I was down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Wow.
I also wanted to add something really quickly. You know, for people that are on the go, like so many people here, you mentioned it, Queen, you mentioned it, Phoenix. The thing is this, no one's telling anyone to go out and live a solitary lifestyle and become a monk and just get quiet.
No,
But what we can do with these ancient practices in this modern world is we can begin to bring harmony and balance to our life. So if you do a lot of cardio, walking, you have a fast-paced professional career, just balance it with some mindfulness practices. You can still do all the high intensity stuff that gives you that runner's high, that great rush and that great feeling, but make sure you have some sense of balance in your life. That's all that I try to share with people. And start with maybe not just being quiet, but just start with a gentle pause. You know, we're very conditioned and accustomed to, when we want to celebrate a fallen hero or such, we say a moment of quiet, whether it be
Yeah.
30 seconds, and everyone just gets quiet. Well, just do that for yourself. Celebrate yourself making it through a work day, going through all you have to go through, and just give yourself the gift of just the pause, of just
Mm.
breathing and being. And that's how you begin to incorporate these practices into your life. You don't do a drastic change, you begin to add in pauses where it makes sense.
okay.
Man, that's good.
I actually have a question now. So we have some people in our community who they're here because they're looking for healing and wholeness, but they don't know where to begin. If you could advise or give one piece of advice or one suggestion of something it is that they could start with, possibly tonight when we end, or maybe
Mhm.
tomorrow morning, that they could do to slowly begin to integrate this into their lives, because again, we're so we're so open, like all this information, like do
Yeah.
yoga, do Pilates, do dance classes, go for walks, do breathing exercises. It's like I can't do it all at one time. So how,
Right.
what is there a right or wrong way to start this?
It's not really, because everyone's just kind of at a different stage in their life. Everyone has exposure to different things. Some things are natural to people, and they're like, "Oh, I remember this feels familiar when I used to do it as a kid, or when I did it in high school." So everybody's experience is different. But I actually shared this with the group that I have on Facebook. Um, you can start with something simple that all of us do all the time. Now, the second thing is, you know, maybe something that you should do more of, but uh, basically breathe and drink water. Okay, and that's where you can start. We are
Yeah.
already breathing in an unconscious way, meaning that we don't have to think to breathe. It happens through our automatic nervous system. But you can bring intention to your breathing, and when you feel yourself kind of stressed out or what have you, your breath is an indicator many times of your mood, and it actually helps to regulate your nervous system. So just
Mm.
take 30 seconds, maybe once or twice a day, connect it with something that you do normally. So if you normally eat lunch, before you eat lunch, if you engage in prayer, pray, and then do 30 seconds of just slow, deep breathing before you eat your meal.
Mm.
Okay, that's pretty simple. I think we can incorporate that. And then, of course, we need water to live, right?
Mhm.
We need water to live, and so that it can also be a mindfulness practice as you drink the water, very similar to mindful eating. You know, this water is sustaining me, this water is strengthening me, it's giving me things that my body needs, it's not only quenching my thirst. So breathing and drinking water is where you can start.
That's so
That is
good.
so okay. So two things. Okay, there was a song out, "Drink Water and Mind My
Mind
Business."
my
So
business.
it
You
should
can add
be
that too.
drink water and mind my business. That's what the song lyrics are. And I'm not sure. I heard before people, you were just speaking about the water. Like, I drink this water. I've heard of people who actually pray or speak the positivity into the water before they take it into their body. Like, is that what you were referring to when
Yes.
you were just talking like that? Okay.
Yes, so it's not just a physical act, because we know in various countries there is shortage of water. So water is not only essential, but it can also be a mindful or a spiritual practice, because this is something that we all need and is not accessible to everyone. So just as you pray over your food, you can also speak those things over your water as you drink. Make me as pure as water today. Provide me with the clarity that this word is so clear. I want that clarity in my mind, in my body, in my spirit. Water is so representative of clarity, cleanliness, flow, being able to not be so rigid in life. As this water flows through me, let me also be flexible and pliable to the things that God has for me. Make it personal. We
Yeah.
know that Jesus Christ is the living water. So there are other things as well that we can speak when we're drinking water that we need in order to live. Now, you may have your water in the form of Starbucks and all these other things, but I'm talking about, let's get some clear water, speak over
Yeah.
the water, and drink the water. And it makes it just that more meaningful, along with breathing.
Mm,
Breathing, being grateful for the breath. As the breath enters the nostrils, is providing your cells with all that you need. And as you release the breath, you're trusting for another one. And so
Mm.
it's just, those are the things that you can do right now that can become very meaningful. And you have to do it in a slow way. I mean, you can breathe really fast, but typically most people breathe kind of slow. And then when you're intentional about it, it causes you to slow down when your
Yeah.
breath is slow and smooth. And then that filters over into other parts of your life.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for
yeah,
sharing
absolutely.
that. I know when I first started therapy a couple of years ago, I was telling my therapist that I struggle with breathing, and she was like, "How stressful is your job?" So I have a very stressful career, and I'm a single mom, and all of these things. And she's like, oftentimes people don't realize that they hold their breath when they're under extreme stress and when they're anticipating something negative. It's
Mm-hmm.
like they tense up and freeze, and they literally stop breathing for a few seconds. And so that was the first best practice she introduced to me. And sorry, y'all, my allergies got my eyes acting crazy. They're cutting my grass, and yet it's bothering me in the house. Anyway, so if I cry, I'm not crying. It's allergies, but that's why she implemented breath work as
Mm-hmm.
like the first thing that we worked on together. She's like, you have got to learn how to breathe through stress. And now it's so habitual that I'll be in the middle of a Zoom and I'll just, and they go, "Oh, we're stressing her," because I will start breathing right there. And I do not care what my staff says. I'm just, ooh, and I'm taking these slow, deep breaths. And so it seems so insignificant, but it is so significant to really pay attention to our bodies, because our bodies is the first to tell on us. Like you said, it keeps record. When you're going through something, your body will tell you long before the diagnosis. Your body will try to warn you long before the ER visit or the urgent care visit. It will say to you, you need to slow down. Or, I remember I kept having these intense headaches every day. I was having a headache. Tylenol, Motrin, Aleve, nothing was working. These
Mm-hmm.
extreme headaches every single day. And I'm thinking it's stress. I'm sleeping wrong on my neck. It's high blood pressure. My mind is all over. I go to the doctor. They can't figure out anything. They're like, we're not finding anything in your results. It's none of these things. I go to my therapist, and she says, "What's happened to you over the last 3 weeks? Let's talk about it." Because it happened for 3 weeks.
Okay.
So I'm like, "Well, this happened and that happened." And I was like, "Oh, and I got into a huge fight with my ex." And she's like, "Well, that's the headaches. You haven't released the trauma of that fight.
Right.
Like, that cannot be it." I finally prayed and released. I said, "God, please help me to release all that I was holding on to." My headaches went away. And I was like, it's really that simple. We think it's
Yeah.
so much deeper and so much bigger and so much more. And it is the little things that our body is like, don't hold on to that. Because we experience trauma in our bodies, not just in our emotions and in our mentality. And so anyway, I want to have some time for our second subtopic. And then of course I want you all to drop a gem. But
Wait, we
before
didn't do the second subtopic yet.
we ain't even touch it yet. We haven't even touched it. And we're gonna just touch it a little bit. But I would love for you, Sherelle, to talk about self-care for every area of life. I know Tiffany already presented, the Phoenix already presented a similar question. But if you have anything in addition to that that you can share, how can women and men, for our fellows who are here, our gents who are here, but how can women really start to own self-care and soul care in everything? As we mentioned at the top of the call, our skincare, our bodies, our mentality, our emotional health. Like, how can we start to like prioritize small ways to make self-care a priority for us?
I think, self care is such a catchphrase because people claim they want it, but they want it in the form of a hack. They want it in the form of that is kind of easy. And self care is, as you mentioned, is not just the bubble baths and whatnot, but self care is being also self aware. And so I think
Mm,
that starts with some self awareness, being able to
mm,
ask family and friends, how do you perceive how I communicate with you? How do you perceive I talk about myself? Some of us, the way we talk to ourselves, we rip ourselves apart because we're so judgmental of ourselves, and then that filters over into other relationships. So
yeah.
what does your self-talk sound like? And then what does your communication sound like with other people? I think is a great starting point. And that takes self-reflection, and it actually takes a sense of boldness. It's very easy to live into the lie. You think you're a good person, you think these things, but maybe you're really not. Maybe you do need to be more self-reflective in some things and
Yeah.
begin some personal development in some areas that you're lacking. So I think that that's a good start when it comes to self-care. I also
Mhm.
think that education, we talk a lot about education in other regards, higher education, graduate education, but I'm talking about education for the everyday person. What
Mhm.
does that look like when it comes to self-care? It's not just about finding the latest massage therapist or the best acupuncturist, but it's also about these screenings. Stop avoiding the screenings. You have faith, you believe. So some people really are in the space, and I'm learning this as I get older. Some people love to live in the ignorance, and ignorance
Mm,
is bliss. I don't want to hear the bad news. I'm not even going to go for the mammogram. And so, with education also comes responsibility. Okay,
mhm,
so it is very simple to get online and find out, whatever age you are, what are the screenings that you should be getting? Your eyes, your ear hearing tests. Okay, so don't just kind of write it off like, oh, you need to speak up. Is there an issue with your hearing? Because that can also be an indicator that you're not ready to grow older gracefully. When these things start changing that we're accustomed to, it's easier for us to be in denial. So self care
mhm.
is also education and bold awareness to move
Nice.
beyond the fear, to get the screening, to accept what it is, and to commit to make change. Because you can live in the land of bubble baths and just skip the screenings. Oh, I don't want to get a colonoscopy. That's too much. They doing too much. I don't have time for an eye exam. And sitting there squinting. You've been squinting for 6 months, and there's something going on with your vision, but I just don't want to be told it's cataract. I don't. I just don't want to know. That I don't want to know is killing us. And
It is.
so you don't want to know, but you want the self-care. But there are layers to the self-care. We can start with the surface level stuff is great, the feel good stuff, but
Right.
self-care is self-awareness, and it goes beyond the surface. Do you want to go into the deep, or do you want to stay in the space of ignorance because it's bliss?
Hmm.
Mm. And it's really not though. I remember my pastor, my former pastor, shout out to Apostle Karen Bethia. She used to always say, when people say, "Oh, what I don't know won't hurt me," she's like, "No, what you don't know can kill you."
Can
Like,
kill you.
Your ignorance can take you up out of here.
Mhm.
And as you mentioned, we have to go do those screenings. We absolutely have to. It's scary.
Yeah.
I had an exam a couple of weeks ago because I'm at that age, honey. I'm
Mhm.
perimenopause. I'm at that age, baby. And so I'm in my doctor's office, and I'm like, "Would you mind if I put my gospel on?" And she's like, "I don't mind because it's a whole mammogram. That's
Yeah,
scary for women."
it
But
is.
I went anyway. It's like, and I ain't got no small sisters. Guys, I'm carrying some grown women with me, and so it's like you have to get this thing tested, And so, but I asked, I said, can I play, gospel on my phone while you do the exam because I'm afraid, and I was very vulnerable with her. And
Yeah.
so she was like, sure. And then she went and got her nurse, and her nurse came in and held my hand because I was by myself. I don't have any family here. And so she was like, I'm gonna have my nurse come in. Is that okay? I said, that's fine. And the nurse stood there and held my hand, and I had my eyes closed the whole time and just listened to my gospel and let them check the girls. And so to your point, let's stop being afraid because we don't know what's on the other side. My results came back and they're like, girl, you fine. Live your life. We see you in a year.
Yeah.
But it's still something that you need to do. So I'm so glad you brought that up. Tiff, anything you want to add to that before we have our final thoughts?
There was something, but I didn't write it down, and now my menopause brain does.
It's like that sometimes.
Girl, we at that age, honey. What?
um, I think overall, the conversation that we're having is such an important conversation that people need to take their health seriously. Like, I remember my dad, rest in peace, dad, saying something to the effect like, "I wasn't sick till your mother took me to the doctor, and now look at like, Daddy, you was sick, like you was sick, you."
Right. Right.
But it's the fear
Yeah.
of getting older, losing our invincibility. As long as it's not confirmed, then it's like it's not true.
It's
You
not
know,
true. Right.
as a woman who's been pregnant a handful of times, I know right away when I'm pregnant because my breasts get all tender and I can't brush my teeth without throwing up. But I still need to pee on the stick and get a sonogram to tell,
That's
girl,
true.
you're pregnant. Why you playing
That's
with
a good
yourself?
point.
Because again, the body is telling you, oh, that's what it was about the body telling you, I know that I'm about to be sick when I crave spicy food. I need garlic. Like one of the first things I go and get is any type of food that's garlic, and I never knew why. But then it turns out that garlic is part in a holistic diet, something to help with anti-inflammatory, fight off infection, stuff like that. Like automatically, if you get in tune with the mindfulness of your body,
Yeah.
then your body tells you, I need this. But we go, no, you don't.
Yep.
Stop
Yep.
stretching your body. Your body's
Yep.
telling you what it needs. That was the thought.
Yep. That's good, Tiff. Thank you for sharing that. So we are at the hour, everyone. We so appreciate you. We hope that you enjoyed this show. We hope that you learned something. I learned plenty. I got a whole page of notes over here from Sherelle. I'm so super grateful for just your wisdom, and your expertise in this industry, and really just championing women to take better care of themselves. It's so necessary. We need it. We really need it. So this is the part of the show that we get to share a final thought. We call it Here's a Gem. The gem does not necessarily have to tie into today's show whatsoever. If you want to share something that aligns with the show, there you go, but you don't have to. Sorry, I got to do my job because Mel will get me if I don't. So here's a gem. I'm actually going to come to you first, Tiffany, and let Sherelle go last so that she can also share with our gems how to reach her and connect with her. So go ahead, Phoenix. What is your gem?
I oddly enough don't have one tonight.
Oh,
I don't. And
what?
I'm actually gonna be okay with that. I'm going to be okay. Okay, there it is. Jem just popped in. It's okay as someone who likes to have the final word to not have anything to say. because that's your mind, that's your consciousness telling you, like, okay, what you have to say is relevant, but you haven't formed all of the thoughts to put it together for your message to come across. So
Yeah.
sometimes, instead of just saying the first thing that comes to the top of your head, sit in that moment of silence and gather your thoughts so that the next thing you say is impactful.
Yes. Love that. In HR, we call that the pregnant pause. We love that. Take that pregnant pause. Awesome. Thank you, Phoenix. So my gym is, one that I did prepare before tonight, and it's because it was one that was on my heart in prayer. And that to stop adopting and accepting the labels that people place on you, whether it's through social comparison, whether it's trying to fit in to a particular group or clique or friend circle. Please own who you are. An example that came up in prayer is that so many people label themselves as introverts, and they like to be alone, and they like to be by themselves and isolated. And what I learned just reading, introvert and extrovert just means where you get your energy from. Introverts go inward for their energy. Extroverts, we gather it externally. But it doesn't mean that you're a party pooper or you're boring. And we've seen social media do that to y'all, where you begin to believe that, oh, I like to be alone because I'm an introvert. No, it's because you might be going through something else. You might be depressed. You might have anxiety, fear. It is not always introvert or extrovert. Sometimes it's something deeper. So be careful how you adopt and accept labels. Stop agreeing with what people are trying to talk into your life. Ask God who you are. Is this why I like being alone, Lord? Is it really because I'm an introvert? Or is it because I've experienced trauma when trying to make friends or being social? Like, let's get beyond the labels and really find out who we are. So that was in my prayer this week, for you, Gems and Gents, and I wanted to share that with you. All right, Sherelle, our guest, we want to hear your gem for the night, and then please tell our Gems and Gents how they can connect with you, how they can find you beyond today.
Yeah, I think my gem tonight, in a world that can be very noisy, consider your relationship with silence. What has been your history with it? Why does it make you feel uncomfortable? Why does it bring you a sense of peace? So my gem is consider your relationship with silence. And I think that you'll be very surprised at how it impacts your everyday life. Because we live in such a noisy world. What is your relationship with silence?
Man, that's good.
I wrote
That
that
is
down.
so good. Me too. So please tell our Gems and Gents how they can connect with you, how can they reach you and support you beyond this show.
Yeah, so they can reach me. First line is my website, SherelleMoreTucker.com, all running together. You can find out about different events that I'm a part of. I have a list of events, and I also have a on-demand library for movement and meditation. I also have a YouTube channel. You can just type in Sherelle Moore Tucker in YouTube, and you can find some free movement and meditation content that I hope is will bless you and you'll share with others. And I'm also on Instagram. I'm not on there all the time, but I do have content on Instagram, and it is at Sherelle Moore Tucker, which is actually right underneath my name. Everywhere Sherelle Moore Tucker. So I look forward to meeting some of you all on some of those platforms.
Love it. Thank you
Thank you.
so much. I cannot tell you how grateful I am that you were here. We are getting so much love for you in the comments. And so thank you all, Gems, Gents, for being here. Tanisha says, so dope. We see you. Hi, Taina. We see you in the comments. She says, yes, gather your thoughts. Thank you, ladies, so much. This has been such a great episode. Please make sure that you still share this live and allow your friends to catch the replay if you think that it will help someone, inspire someone, and motivate someone to do the introspective work and become more self-aware so that they can do better at self-care. Please share this with them. And y'all know what it is. Until next time, continue to
The
hustle
hustle and
and
shine.
shine. Have a great night, everybody.
Let's go. Let's go.